Hey guys, I'm Jacob and I'm an aspiring cinematographer and photographer, and today we are taking pictures with Carlos and Leilana. And I'm going to give you guys 5 common mistakes that most people make on their Instagram posts. So let's get to it.
Today we are at Lake Las Vegas Hilton and we are taking graduation photos, and let's just get right into it.
The first mistake that many people make is having the subject way too close to the background. I see a lot of girls doing this, not to shout you guys out, but it doesn't add a lot of depth to the shot. So for us, we're going to be positioning people in front of these mountains, which are very far away. So that'll help for the depth perception to make it just a more interesting, less of a flat 2D image. And these guys are pretty great for that. So on to the next tip. So what just happened?
So the lady that works here just pulled up in her, I don't even know what they call that. Anyway, point is, she asked the homie right here is he was a professional photographer. He said no, that's a lie. But anyway, moving on, she said it's okay because I'm blind right now, and now we're about to take photos because the homie let us. So if you're watching this, thank you so much.
Now tip number 2, this is to keep the images level, keeping that horizon line perfectly straight, and don't really have it at an angle. For some people, this might be more of a artistic kind of style, but for me, I don't really like that. So that's one of the mistakes that a lot of people make with a lot of their photography. So fixing that will help most of the pictures look a lot better. This can be easily fixed with adding the grid on in the settings. So going into your phone, you can turn on the grid, which helps you to level out your images.
That's lit. Look how cool that is. It's getting kind of dark, so we have the availability to move elsewhere now because it's still bright, but not bright enough. So we're gonna move to a grassy area with more green and do the same thing. Right now I took off my cap and gown because oh my gosh, is it hot. It's like 100 degrees outside, even though it's like 7, 8. And I'm still in a suit, which kind of sucks, but you guys don't care about that. So I'll see you guys when we get there.
Next location?
Next location.
So as you can tell, it's getting a little bit darker outside, but now on to mistake number 3, or tip number 3. Having objects in the background. Having little objects coming out of your head is a big issue with a lot of the pictures people take. They don't really pay attention to what's in the background, and they'll just have things that are kind of distracting. So another tip would just be to be more aware of that, move your subject, take a little bit more time with it. And on to tip number 4. So mistake number 4 is over editing your photos. A lot of people edit their photos a little bit too much, adding a little bit too much contrast, a little bit too much of the crispness, and it just doesn't feel right. So a good tip for that is always less is more. Do a little bit less of that contrast, a little bit less of that saturation, and the photo will probably turn out a little bit better than if you added a little bit more, overdid it. It's always a struggle of finding that little medium. You guys can see it's a little bit later in the day. We passed golden hour, we passed blue hour. Now it's just dark hour. So I'm gonna finish this video at home. We have one more mistake, and I will show you guys when I'm back at my room. The 5th and final mistake that most people make on their Instagram posts is having the shot a little too wide. Now let me give you some examples because a lot of you could be taking this kind of in the wrong way. When the subject is really small compared to the whole entire background, it just feels like there's no focus on the image. There's no one subject that we should be looking at. For some people, this is usually because it's For vacation photos, they want to show that big background, the Eiffel Tower, whatever that may be. They want to have that in the background and the subject in the foreground. And for those cases, that is pretty good. There's no way of really getting around that. But for other cases, when you're just taking photos of people in front of just some sort of thing, you might want to zoom in a little bit. You might want to actually focus more on the person, because sometimes that is the subject, the person, not the place. So now that you know all of these mistakes that many people make on Instagram posts, you are less likely to make them and just that much closer to becoming that professional photographer. And if you guys like these types of videos, this is the types of videos that I make. So hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.